So the internet is having a huge debate on Tracee Ellis Ross saying that she dates younger men versus Shannon Sharpe dating a 19-year-old girl. Not only that, Corey Holcomb is going off on Tracee Ellis on her latest comments, basically saying her good days are over.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So if you missed our coverage, we've talked endlessly about Shannon Sharpe and this $50 million lawsuit from a, quote, ex-girlfriend that he met when she was just 19 years old. Since then, multiple audio have been released. We've played for you those audio. If you missed it, be sure to check out those 3 videos that we did covering this, including one yesterday with some new audio recordings. And the update that we found out that Shannon Sharpe, according to his new attorney, Lanny Davis, offered this woman at least $10 million in pre-settlement conversations. $10 million. But there's also a lot of conversations on how many people warned Shannon Sharpe in interviews, including Monique, comedian Monique, telling him, stop dating these young girls. Get yourself age equivalent. We can continue and talk about this conversation about people dating younger, but the timeliness of Shannon Sharpe dating this 19-year-old girl versus Tracee Ellis Ross saying that she prefers to date younger men, I don't believe she even said how young she's talking about. So in a new interview with Michelle Obama and her brother, they have a podcast where they're interviewing a lot of really great women and guests on their show. And they did this interview with Tracee Ellis Ross where she talked about this.
I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner. We had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes, Parish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracee's.
It's fun. It's really fun to share.
Tracee tales.
And I can only imagine, because Michelle also recently talked about how a lot of people were talking about her not attending the inauguration, and that led to people speculating that her and Barack were over. I was never part of that. I was like, how did y'all come up with that? There were so many rumors that Michelle and Barack are over, and that's why she didn't go to the inauguration. We know why she didn't go to the inauguration. She was tired of fronting.
Yup.
She was tired of playing these political games. But anyways, I've digressed. I just find it interesting, and shout out to all the people that are married or in serious relationships. Y'all love to hear these single hotels, don't y'all? Y'all do. That is the face that I got from Michelle Obama in this moment.
But
I'm sorry.
One of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner. And so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself.
That part, preach. This is why I love Tracee Ellis Ross, because a lot of people have questioned the fact that she is a woman of a particular age, not married, doesn't have children. And I know there are a lot of people that can relate to who she is and where she is in her life. But I love that she says here that she's a full embodied person. We could go down the line on what that means, because that might mean something different to different people. But when she said that, I said, preach. Because a lot of people are getting married, getting into relationships currently as we speak, and they don't know who they are, what they want, or even in healthy mindset to be in a relationship, but they decide to get into these relationships and cause all this trauma. Trauma to themselves, trauma to other people, and trauma to the world.
Who is in charge of my life and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks.
And I paused it there because she says a lot of men. She didn't say all men. So it's important for me to emphasize that. She says a lot of men. And then when you look at the Shannon Sharpe of it all, who's an age equivalent, we're like, huh, makes a little bit more sense what she's talking about. But again, emphasizing, Tracee says a lot of men, not all men, not every man, a lot of men in her experience.
And anything that starts to smell of that for me,
Yeah.
I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, and I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again.
And I will not do it again, she says. And this is where I don't think people give Diana Ross enough credit, her mother, because Diana Ross, yes, she's the diva. She's Miss Ross, the boss, and she's lived this amazing, fabulous life. But we don't talk about enough of how great of a mother she has been to those children. Despite having the big life and career that she's had, it seems as if she's always shown up and made her family her priority. I'm saying that based off what I've seen. I would be interested to hear what the kids say, but based on what they've always said in interviews about their mother being Diana Ross, it's like she's always fostered this relationship with her children. And the fact that Tracee Ellis Ross is the woman she is today, I also give some of that credit to the mother that Diana Ross is as well. But there's been all kinds of think pieces on what Tracee Ellis Ross said in this particular moment. And it was almost like the karmic gods had this Shannon Sharpe situation just ready for us to kind of compare, because when we're talking about age equivalent, this guy, Shannon Sharpe, is the age equivalent. This is what she's talking about. Shannon Sharpe is being accused of SA. He's being accused of grape. He's being accused of trying to wield his power on someone that is much younger than him. The other element here is that Tracee just said younger men. Tracee is 50-something years old. Younger men for her could be my age. Hey, Tracee. Gay, sorry. But you know what I mean? Like, younger could be 10 years younger. She didn't say she was out here dating 19-year-olds. She also didn't say, when she was talking about the men in her age bracket, she didn't say all men. She was saying the men that she has experienced. And this is part of the reason why she has decided to date younger men. She also didn't say that you have to do it either. And I also feel like when it comes to women and them dating younger, I don't feel like it's the same. I think women and their perspectives on relationships are very different than men. This is where men and women are different. Women, not all women, I'm not going to put all women like this, but for the most part, in my experience of the girlfriends that I know, they're definitely more thoughtful. The things that are priorities to them aren't just the physicality. It's more emotional. It's more about emotional support. And as Tracee is saying in this particular interview, she is a full, whole person. So she doesn't need anything from this younger man to make her feel better. And maybe that's intimidating to men of a particular age because of how they grew up during that time. And I have to say, based off the young people that I've spoken to, young people nowadays are a lot more mature, a lot freer, a lot more open-minded than we were at their age. It's just the different era. It's because now there is an allowance for people to think more freely. That's not a dig at how we all have grown up. It's just a different time. Let me talk about in my community, the LGBTQIA community. The way that I see so many people at the age in the early 20s that are so able to really be themselves, especially in my community, I'm like, wow, I think that's amazing, because I remember being that age and not being able to do that, being in the closet and not being able to do PDA, which to this point still is something that I think a lot of us of the same particular age feel that way because of the way that we grew up, that trauma of being forced in the closet for a variety of different reasons. It was just a different time, which makes people that are now my age a certain type of way. But of course, you can make decisions, you can go to therapy and work through those things. But I still think for a lot of people, it's sort of like, that's not how I grew up. That's just my mentality. But I love it for the future. And I get what Tracee's saying here is that these younger men just move different. And it could be generational. But not only that, Corey Holcomb, shout out to our friends over at Hot New Hip Hop, they said, that Tracee Ellis Ross got candid about her dating life during a recent appearance on Michelle Obama and her brother Craig Robinson's In My Opinion podcast, sparking a major debate. The actress said that she prefers to date younger men. She explains that this is because men her age tend to have traits that she avoids in a partner. A lot of men my age are steeped in toxic masculinity, she said in the interview, and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. Some social media users commended Ross for speaking her truth. Others began to question her actual motives. Motives? And wonder if her comments would be received differently if they were made by a man. Corey Holcomb, for example, recently compared her remarks to some that he made himself last October. So in an interview on YouTube, on the 5150 YouTube channel, as always we cite our sources, he said this.
Look at society. Where your son at right now? With a bitch. Not growing up under your tutelage. Because men who sleep with men are making laws that put bitches in power. Now bitches can go around and young boys and brag on it and think ain't nothing wrong with them. But when Corey went on Cam Newton's show and said, I young, broke, lost hoes, I was the worst motherfucker in the world. Huh, Tracee? Tracee Ellis Ross, we heard you, bitch. I mean, we finna go into it. We about to get your ass, Josh.
Why she's got to be the B word?
Josh Binks, we about to get your ass. Because somebody said it, so now I can say it.
Yeah.
How you see the bitch get out the car? I'm like, oh, see where they come, brother. She's straight.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He didn't choose you. He didn't choose you. These were your prime years when you was passing the pussy out to Boston who got options to choose a woman who was virtuous.
Sidebar, I saw someone say they need to put a tariff on the podcast equipment.
None of them chose you. So now, at 52, with your arrogant ass, you dating the puppies of the hood. Let me tell you something. These broads out here, especially the older ones, 45 and up, I'm gonna go that high, 45 and up, they good with dogs and elderly people, or they might mess with somebody who's young and impressionable, because that way they can be held up as they pretend themselves to be. But when
See, this is the problem. And I'm not going to even play any more of it. If you want to see all of it, you can see it on Twitter at The Art of Dialogue. Here's the thing. You just proved Tracee's point. First of all, Tracee probably wouldn't even be interested in you, sir. But you just proved her point when she talked about toxic masculinity. The first minute and a half of that, it's just like, okay, you're proving her point. Point has been made, Corey Holcomb. Point has been made. But it leads me to the conversation that we can continue in the comment section. Would people feel differently if a man said what Tracee said? Well, not only if a man had said it, we've seen men for years, decades, dating younger women. But let's be more specific, dating extremely younger women, barely legal younger women. As I said before, Tracee Ellis Ross said that she prefers to date younger men. That could be 10 years younger. That could be 20 years younger. Guys, I want to know your thoughts. I also want to know, how young would you be willing to date based off your age? Share that in the comment section. And if you are an older woman or an older man dating someone younger, tell us why. What have you found? Why did it end up that way for you? Guys, as always, I'd love to hear what you have to say, but as always, we do not moderate adults, so do not argue or bully anyone for their opinion in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation there. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.